What little stand thing? Oh, we're live. Good morning. What are you doing, Drew?
I'm saying good morning.
He's not ready.
I'm just setting
I
up.
pushed live too soon.
Just setting up for Instagram. Yeah.
Ah,
Can you see?
I can see. Oh, hello. Just holding on to these teas here.
Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. Oh, Vince, what's up, Vince?
Hey, Vince.
How are you doing? Do you have school today, Vince?
Did you get a bike ride in the rain?
Is this mine?
Yeah, this one's mine.
Here's my true form.
Mandy's here too. Good morning, Mandy.
What's up, Mandy? Thanks for. How did you like my class? Whose was better, mine or Dorothy's?
Oh, that is no question. They like me way better.
Just kidding. Don't answer
You don't
that.
have to answer that, Mandy. But if you would like to, go ahead. All right. So, what are we doing this morning?
We were hanging out. Mandy said, morning, guys. Vince said, yes, I got a little wet.
Oh, you did go. Yes, got to school, got a little wet. Oh, you're an early bird, Vince, at school already. Look at you go.
Yeah.
Oh, Dorothy isn't supposed to.
Morning, Amber.
Morning, Amber. I was reading Mandy's comment.
I'm pulling it over. Dorothy isn't supposed to tell you. Dorothy, of course.
Aww, you're out.
I thought we were friends, Mandy. It's over now.
My legs were killing me, she said. That's awesome.
After whose workout?
Yours, I think. Vince says he actually slept in. Oh my, Vince. Vince, what time are you getting up in the morning?
Vince gets up at like 3 a.m.
And he's
For the day.
And he's like the chipperest person in the morning, even at 3 a.m.
It's true. All right, guys. Drew, oh my.
So much going on in the comments. Drews. What did you do to them?
I don't
I'm
know.
not sending you into sub anymore.
What did we do? What did we do, Mandy?
You're going to kill my clients.
Oh, no.
This morning, Vince says he got up at 4
look at
a.m.
that. Small town promotions.
Oh my gosh, Vince.
Derby.
It's time for nap time if you got
Ginny.
up at 4.
What's up, guys? What's up, Instagram? We were talking to Facebook here. Facebook.com/trueformlife. And then Instagram, we're also on... Facebook, we're also on Instagram as well, so you guys can flip back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Cindy, water ski mom, just popped in here.
Hey, Cindy.
We got lots of things going on this
Ginny.
morning.
Yeah.
So if you're on Instagram and you're not traveling, we have our DSLR camera set up. We got some better lighting set up, and then we're also dragging comments on the screen. So
Brandy says, it wasn't that bad. I heard a little differently, Brandy.
Look at Mandy said, don't tell him that.
So Drew subbed for me on Monday at my body fit class. So this is what the girls are talking about, that my class is better than Drew's.
You like that, do you?
I like that.
Who taught you how to run classes?
I just am a natural. I told myself.
Oh man, you guys are fun though. That class is awesome. I really enjoyed going in and subbing. So yeah, we had lots of fun. And now your legs are sore. I heard. So you're welcome.
I knew he was going to say that. I was just about to say, you know what Drew always says after he works somebody out hard and they're complaining is he says, they're like, oh my gosh, my arms are so sore, or my abs or whatever, my whole body hurts. He's like, you're welcome. He always says that. So I knew that's what he was going to say. No sympathy at all.
You know, the thing is that when you get a good workout in and you're a little bit sore, you don't have to be sore to get results, but you get a good workout in, you're a little bit sore, results usually come, and I don't always get thank yous for pushing people and getting results. I get complaints like my legs are sore, Mandy. That's why I'm always like, you're welcome. Don't thank me.
No. Thank me later.
No, don't thank me.
But it is a good point though, Drew, that when we are working, try to increase or Let me start over. When we increase intensity in workouts or change it up, switch things out, work different muscles, we're sore. And that's a good thing because it lets us know that we are working out in a different way and in, I guess, expanding our limits.
That's right.
Which will increase results.
Yeah, stretching your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Results are born
outside of your comfort zone.
Put on a t-shirt.
Huh?
Cindy said it. Cindy said, I heard that lots. You're welcome. Cindy's been coming to our classes for years, so.
Yes.
We've definitely heard that a few times, Cindy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so today we're talking about why you should not weigh yourself.
Yes, why you should. One time we even said, I don't know if you wrote this on this graphic, I can't remember, but one time one of our topics was, you should burn your scale.
Why you should burn your
scale.
Why
you should burn your scale. And I have been known to steal scales from my client houses. I'm not leaving here until you give me your scale.
Yeah, I love that. And it's because, see, the thing is we get obsessed, like we get obsessed with things like scales. And it's not a proper way to measure success. It's not an accurate way to measure success. Let's see what Amber said here. Amber said, I was sore after doing the workout on Tuesday and only doing one set. Anytime you change your workouts, that's a good point, Amber, for our ladies like Mandy, excuse me, and Brandy that are tuning in here. Anytime you change your workouts a bit, even if they're similar, you're going to be sore. So we call it muscle confusion, and basically you're confusing your muscles. So we get into plateaus, for example. Plateaus are just means where you don't see results. Then we have to change up our workouts, usually drastically, but we like to see, as you can tell, those of our class members know that Dorothy changes her workouts out every day. Like, they're not always the exact same workout. Mm-hmm. In fact, she sits there and plans different workouts every single day. And I'm like, why don't you just use an old one? She's like, no, it has to be
different.
So, and then Amber's in our monthly membership group, and she's doing workouts at home. Mm-hmm. So she noticed that soreness as well.
Yeah. You know, I just like what Vince says here. Vince says, scales are bad. It's how you feel and how your clothes feel. And you know, fit. Yes.
How your clothes feel.
How your clothes feel. Well, clothes have feelings. Some are soft, some are crunchy, some are bally, some are hairy.
Oh my.
Some are too tight. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that. But I wanted to share something because I was thinking about this before, like, we went live this morning, about our topic. I was thinking about the scale and how we let the scale control how we feel about ourselves. And we are always taught I'm trying to get my words here. It made perfect sense in my head. But we're always taught to let go of those people in our lives that don't make us feel good about ourselves, right? But then we have this scale in our life that puts us down every single day, but yet we keep going back to it. So it's like being involved in a friendship where you aren't treated fairly or you are treated poorly, and you keep going back to it over and over and over for those, I don't know, and it's all like those negative, because I can't like really remember a time that I've ever stepped on a scale and been happy. I don't know, and been happy about what it says or get off and feel better about myself. You know what I mean?
It's like an abusive relationship.
Yes, that's maybe what I was trying to get at. It made much better sense in my head when I was thinking about it. I tried to tell you guys about it. It didn't come out the same way. But it's true, Drew, like an abusive relationship. You just keep going back for like more negative stuff.
Variety is the spice of life.
Nice, Brandy.
Yeah, it's true though, because see, the thing is that the thing when it comes to the scale is that we have such a short success. Like there's so little joy in your life from the scale. So here's what happens is we wake up and we have a goal that we want to reach, and we really don't really know if that goal is proper, if that suits our lifestyle, if it suits our healthy. Like we don't set that goal. That goal is usually someone else. Like some celebrities 130 pounds, so we feel like we should be too, even though that their body's built entirely different. Mm-hmm. And then so when we step on the scale, we have let's say we lose 3 pounds, and maybe that's in our mind, and we say, I want to lose at least 3 pounds when I step on that scale. So let's say we step on that scale and we lose 3 pounds. We're excited, like, oh my gosh, I lost 3 pounds. And then instantly it's gone. And it's like then tomorrow or next week, I want to lose another 3 pounds. So that joy or excitement lasts for such a short amount of time. It's like, there's got to be other ways that can wake us up or motivate us or
excite us
or cause joy in our life. And when you step on that scale, it's so minimal. So most of the time we're very disappointed.
Most of the time.
So our expectations from a scale is like Biggest Loser, which is entirely unrealistic in so many different ways. So we're looking for a huge number. So in a week we want to lose 10 pounds, which isn't possible in most areas of life. And then then you're disappointed, and that probably ruined your whole day, possibly your whole week. And then so that we have that comparison to when we step on it, we see the results we want. Then we get excited, and we're like, well, maybe tomorrow I could lose another 3 pounds.
Yeah.
So then it's over. So it's like it's not a pleasurable way to see and track results.
You know what really, like the mindset that really helped me in getting rid of that scale was, that attachment to the number, because we get so attached to what number we should be on the scale. That number should have no meaning, realistically. But we get attached to a number. And one thing that really, really helped me was to put it into perspective, because like Drew said, we have this expectation that we should be able to lose an obscene amount of weight in a short amount of time. But if you think about how long it took you to possibly put on that weight, for example, in my case, it took me like 6 years through university or even longer. But then when I started my fitness and healthy lifestyle journey, I wanted to be my goal weight in a week. But I had spent the last 6 years or longer, maybe, even 8-10 years of my life being, putting on the weight. And then in a week, I want to lose it. Like, that just is an obscene expectation. Right? So try and think of that, and try and think of that and put it in perspective.
And that's a great point, because when we used to do personal training, that's kind of how I started my career, fitness classes to personal training. And people's expectations are literally, I've started working out, and it's been 3 weeks. Why haven't I lost 10 pounds?
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, and I used to say this, I think to myself now, it's so crazy to think that. And then I would say that to my client, and I would say, how long did it take you to put that on?
Yeah.
And they'd say, well, 20 years. And I said, well, why would you expect it to go off in 3 weeks then?
Yeah.
And then they would get a blank look on their face and not really understand. But we really don't think about it, and we don't plan out and don't understand that it takes a lifetime usually. So many times when we worked with one-on-one clients, more so, people would say, I want to get back to my weight when I was, when I was in high school, or I did this in high school, or I did this in college. And that was literally 20 years ago. So they're like, I want to get back to that now. But there was all this time in between where we changed our lifestyle, we changed our eating habits, our exercise habits are much different. So after we start something, and after a couple of weeks, we jump on the scale and we're like, well, this isn't working. Like, what do you mean it's not working? You've been doing it for 3 weeks. So it's very hard to gauge by just using the scales, I guess what we're saying.
And when you only have weight to focus on, it's like being in a tunnel. And over and over, you're just focused on your weight. That's all it is. It's wake up and go to bed. And that's all that you're seeing. You have that tunnel vision. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. And there's so much beyond that tunnel that you can't even see because you're wrapped up in the weight, right? And when in that number, in that scale, when realistically, there is so much more out there and so much more meaningful successes beyond that scale that you're missing out on is because you're in that little bubble or that little tunnel, and that's all you can see. Boing, boing, boing. You're probably even seeing results, or having results or gaining results, but you can't see them because you're in your tunnel. So get out of your tunnel.
And that's
Right?
the hardest part. That's the hardest part about using the scale as a measure of success. So, for example, like I just interviewed Thor Conklin, I think his name was, and he did his fantastic interview, and he mentioned how this this type of bamboo grows for 7 years underground, and then after it breaks through, it grows a significant amount in a very short amount of time. And I thought, how, it meant so much. Like, oh my gosh, like what a great way to think about things, because so many times we're working towards a goal and we don't see the results we're looking for. And it's like the scale stays the same, but there's so many other things happening in our life that we don't see because we're just focused. And then when we break through, we see results and we're like, oh, that happened overnight. It happens in business all the time. Like people are like, oh, for example, like these videos. People are like, oh, your videos are awesome. Like we love your Facebook videos. But they haven't seen us for the last 5 years make horrible videos. So it would have been easy to quit.
Speak for yourself.
It would have been easy to quit, but we pushed through and then we continue to get better. And now it looks like all that growth under the surface wasn't there. And it's like, oh my gosh, they've grown so far in a short amount of time. But by focusing on just that scale, you're not going to see those results.
Right.
What's up, Jordan?
Hey, Jordan.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say about that.
Drew got a little philosophical on us there. He does that sometimes. But no, you're right. I like that philosophy. Thanks for sharing with us.
What other ways can we measure results or success?
Oh my gosh, there are so many, but I think it's hard to, I guess, wrap your head around it. Like you have to be in the right mindset to accept different ways. And I think Vince even mentioned earlier, it's about how you feel and how your clothes fit. And that's with my clients, that's a big one that I always suggest for them, is to have a goal with clothing, and it can even be like related to an event. For example, if you're going on a trip or a holiday or you have a special event coming up, you can have a piece of clothing, like a dress or a pair of pants, and have it as kind of your goal.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that's one way.
Yeah, and then for those, for example, like if it's a piece of clothing, we always recommend putting them outside your closet. So you're always working towards something. You're always working towards the goal, and you continually see it over and over again. Mm-hmm.
That's right. It doesn't always have to be about your weight or about fitness either. It could be a goal in the kitchen. For example, I'm going to try like 3 new meals a week for a goal or something like that. Like 3 new supper meals, 3 healthy supper meals a week. So you can try to lean more on the nutrition side as well, as opposed to the weight loss or fitness side, which we tend to lean towards more often.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about, Callie just jumped in here.
Hey, Callie.
Good morning, Callie. Parker, what's up, Parker?
Hey.
All kinds of people. So those of you that are tuning in and that, we're on Facebook as well as Instagram. So facebook.com/trueformlife. You can ask questions on either page. We're talking about scales and why you should not be weighing yourself. And then Facebook, we're on Instagram as well. So Instagram is at Drew Tadia. And I also wanted to mention YouTube, where most of our videos go up on YouTube after we put them on Facebook. And many times people are like, well, how do we get your new videos? Many times we put a video up on Facebook, for example, or on Instagram, they disappear. But Facebook, they get pushed way down. If you go to YouTube, our YouTube channel, True Form Life, that's where all our videos are stored. So you can go and flip through hundreds of past videos we've done over the years.
Mm-hmm. So we talked about having a goal like of clothing instead of the scale. We also talked about having different goals nutrition wise, but one that kind of I thought of while we were sitting here was taking pictures and then seeing progression through time. But for example, maybe once a month taking, how do you call them, progress pictures of yourself. And then, because a lot of times we don't notice those changes, but a picture will show us, right? But I wouldn't recommend taking pictures more than once a month, really.
Once a month would be good.
Would be enough.
Amber said, I think I think it's about looking at the big picture, not just focusing on the scale as one piece of the puzzle. Pieces could be clothes fit better, less bloating, weight, stamina, strength, healthy habits.
Yeah.
Music to our ears. Amber. Absolutely. And those are things that we're going to get into, or that's what we're going towards. There's so many benefits when it comes to living a healthy lifestyle. And that's why we preach living a healthy lifestyle, because if it's just the weight loss and you don't see that weight loss on the scale, then everything gets pushed aside and we think it's not working. This program doesn't work. These results aren't coming. I'm doing something wrong, or there's something wrong with me. But when we work towards healthy habits, you can see different areas of success. Mm-hmm. So you can track your energy, for example. Like, this food makes me feel better. This food gives me better digestion. And there's just so many things that we can pay attention to. But you talked about earlier that tunnel vision, when it's just scale, it's very hard to see anything else. Meanwhile, our whole life, our whole world around us is changing. We're continuing to see results. We're gaining confidence. Our clothes are fitting better. But it's just the scale.
Another point about being obsessed with the scale or the weight loss is that it's causing stress. Most people have stress around their weight and around the scale, and we hear it all the time, right? I'm frustrated because the scale's not moving. It's hard to see the scale not moving. But the thing is, the more we stress and obsess about the scale, we're actually inhibiting, right? Inhibiting our results, because that stress, we're holding on to that stress and those emotions, which are affecting our physical, the physical changes in our body.
Yeah, the physical ability to lose weight. We actually
block it.
Well, when our stress level rises, our cortisol level rises as well, which increases the amount of body fat. So if you're always stressed out, like every morning you step on that scale, or even every week, we're not every week people either. We've had quite a few comments of people saying that I just weigh once a week. Like, we don't feel that is a great measure of success either. So every week, if you're stressed out about jumping on that scale, you're going to reduce the ability for your body to drop inches or burn that body fat.
Yeah, a week just isn't enough time, to have accurate results, I suppose. You need more time than a week.
Jordan said a big one is when you don't see someone for a month or more, and then they see you and they look at, and they're surprised how good you look.
Yeah,
and
it's so true.
That means so much, doesn't it, Jordan? When you don't see someone, and that happened with one of our members, for example, like Sarah, for example. She was dropping a bunch of weight, and then we saw her recently. I was like, oh my gosh, she looks great. Mm-hmm. And then she was at work, and her coworkers kept saying, she wasn't weighing herself, and her coworkers kept saying, you look like you lost inches, or you look like you lost some weight. And then she jumped on the scale and was like, oh my gosh, and she was down a number of inches or mm-hmm. number of pounds. But that stuff can come along because she wasn't focused on the scale. It was just, she was living a healthy lifestyle. And then it was like, oh, well, everyone's saying I look like I dropped some weight, so maybe I'll see what that looks like. And then you saw results. But I think it'd be much different if you're like on the scale every single day or every single week, and then being like, oh, whatever I'm doing is not working because the scale doesn't change every time I step on it.
Vince just brought up a good point there. He said, yes, scales are counterproductive. We exercise to reduce stress, not to increase stress. That's an excellent point, right? Because more times than not, the scale stresses us out. And you're right, Vince. You exercise to reduce your stress.
It's kind of funny, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That we exercise, we eat well to reduce the stress in our lives. And exercise is the number one way to reduce stress. And then putting good quality foods in your body. Mm-hmm. So then you're doing all this work to reduce stress in your life and feel better. And then we go to the scale once a day or once a week to increase the stress in our lives. It doesn't balance out. So yeah, all good points. Thanks everyone for contributing to the conversation here.
Yeah, another thing that's important too, and I sparked from Amber's comment about the different pieces of the puzzle. And I think too, we put all of our I'm going to use one of yours, Drew. We put all of our eggs in one basket. Drew says that sometimes. And that's the exercise basket. So we exercise. But we have to contribute or look at as well nutrition, and also one that really falls off into the distance is our emotional or mental health as well. And those are all pieces of the puzzle that will contribute to a healthier lifestyle. And if weight loss is something that you're looking at, like, we have to look at all of those pieces of the puzzle as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think that's a big one that we don't pay attention to. Like, our stress level is a big one that Vince just mentioned. And if we're entirely stressed out at work, or if we're stressed out at home and we're not finding that an outlet or like a stress valve, I like to call it. Yeah, we don't have a stress relief. Or I say we don't have a valve. Remember we used to do those presentations, like the stress presentations, and like we don't actually have something that's like a knob we can turn and be like, there's a way to reduce the stress in our lives. So we have to continually do things. Like we need to work out or be active. We need to eat right and stay away from highly toxic foods. And the other one is being mentally clear. So if that's breathing exercise, if that's yoga exercises, I really like the environment aspect of it and paying attention to the people in your life. Because if there's people, like we all have people in our lives that stress us out. And many times it's family members, sometimes it's close friends, and those people are only holding us back. So as challenging as it is, we have to spend less time with those people that stress us out and more time with people that lift us up.
Right. That's a good point. But yeah, so breathe. I think lots of times we forget to breathe, which helps us. Breathing and breathing exercise, you might want to call it meditation, right? Those types of exercises help us increase our mental clarity, reduce stress, which is all going to be a factor in, I guess, the big picture or the big puzzle of living a healthy lifestyle.
I have a story about my scale experience. Do you want to share yours first?
No, you go ahead. I don't know what my experience is.
Oh, okay.
What experiences do you want me to share?
I think everyone has a negative experience around the scale.
I have lots. Oops. It's Drew's turn.
I just asked you to share yours.
In like a talking rock. Sometimes you see it in movies when the family's in a counseling session or something. Okay, you can't talk unless you have the rock. We need one of those.
We need like a mute button. Like a mute?
That's rude.
Mute. You got something right.
I know. That's why I was going like this, guys.
Side.
I thought I had like dry skin or something hanging down. Well, what is it?
Let me see.
It's the light. Was it dry skin?
A little piece of skin.
Oh, it was a little piece of dry skin. I've been having extremely dry skin. Anyway, let's move on. That's not interesting.
All right, we got a couple comments there. Amber said sleeping properly also affects weight and having a healthy lifestyle. No question.
And you know what's funny?
I was in the middle of
I have
reading.
to say this though. Oh, sorry. He wasn't done reading.
Somebody hit the mute button.
Read.
A lot of people focus on these other things, but forget about having proper sleep habits too.
So true. And what I was going to say was that it's all like a circle, right? Because if you are stressed out, you're not going to sleep well. If you don't sleep well, chances of you waking up early getting your workout in are very slim. And right, and chances of you having time to get your nutrition in probably is reducing, right? So you grab that quick to-go food, and that quick kind of to-go food makes you less energy. So then in the evening again, right, we're not going to get a proper sleep. And then it goes round and round in this vicious circle. Vicious circle. So it's interesting how everything is connected and runs simultaneously in a circle.
Ooh, nice word.
I said it good too.
I said it good. Vince said I like to, mental and physical health go hand in hand. I like to meditate on a daily basis to keep grounded. Vince, how long do you meditate for? And do you have any suggestions for people that are just trying to start meditation?
Yeah, because it's kind of like, I can remember being a bit scared, like to start meditation, like because you're alone with your thoughts and it's quiet, and you know what I mean? And so if you have kind of a plan or a idea of what to do, then it kind of helps out to where to go. It doesn't have to be long. I think we have this idea in our head that we have to meditate for like 20 minutes or a half hour, but you could start with a minute or two, 30 seconds.
Okay, I want to tell my scale story.
Okay, go.
Uninterrupted from
3,
you.
2, 1.
Okay, so I think we all have scale stories, and I'm ignoring you. We all have scale stories, and for me in particular, mine is the stop it. I feel like moving the camera over here and be like, Dorothy's done. Time out.
I don't have the talking rock.
Okay, I'm going to try this again. Can you control yourself?
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay, so my story is the opposite of most people. So most people want to see the scale go down. And growing up in the athletic world, I wanted to see the scale go up. So we would actually, and probably still do at some level, we grew up with a bunch of guys that we actually make fun of each other for being too skinny. And so you're in the same thing in the athletic world. When you're lifting weights, you want to be bigger and stronger, and that what brings along heavy and stronger is usually more weight. So more weight and more muscles. And so for me, when I was growing up, I was always a skinnier kid, and I would get made fun of when I was quite younger, and I would get made fun of for being a skinny kid around. So then in high school, I started to find the gym in the weight room. And then it was later on, like the last year, I just started to experiment with it. And then I got into college, university, and that's where I really found the love of the weight room. And at one point, it was an obsession. I got to a point where I couldn't see the scales go up. Like I was trying to gain weight, I was trying to get stronger. I would get up in the middle of the night and have a meal. Because there's in the athletic world, there's called a hard gainers, and that's what I was in that category of being a hard gainer. What's up, Chance? We're just talking about why you shouldn't be weighing yourself, and and I'm talking about my story here about my negative background about the scale. So I would get up in the middle of the night and have a meal because I thought that would help me gain weight, and I ended up being about 220 pounds. So I was like this large man of muscle, and I couldn't move. Like I was very inflexible. I couldn't sleep very well. I was very nasally. I had a lot of different issues going on, but I was only focused on the scale and my weight going up. So that hangs on like now today. So I'll fast forward, and for example, like when I look at things like the scale, I don't weigh myself anymore. So I actually have friends from high school or friends from college, and they're like, "Oh, you can do handstands." I just taught myself how to do a flip, for example. And my friends are like, "Oh my gosh, you can do that at how much do you weigh?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And they're like, "What do you mean you don't know?" And I'm like, I literally haven't weighed myself in as long as I can remember. And a kind of a quick story here is when we leave the gym where we teach fitness classes or we train the Broncos athletes, there's always a scale there. There's always a scale right when you leave. And in our opinion, it shouldn't be there, but it's always there. So every once in a while I think about the scale and I'm like, should I jump on that? And then I'm like, that never makes me happy. Like it never brightens my day because I always think like I should be heavier or maybe I'm gaining a bit much weight, but it's always on your mind and it hangs on to you. So you guys, you're not alone. Everyone just deals with it at different levels. And for me, it was the complete opposite, but it's still something that I personally struggle with. And it always, like, we're at a point where we just don't weigh anymore because it doesn't do any good ever. So that's my story of the opposite of what most people would deal with.
That's a great story, Grandpa.
How long were you waiting to say that?
Isn't he a good storyteller?
No. Chance says I stand on it every day.
Chance!
Stay away from that scale.
Get away from that scale. But I won't go on and tell a big gigantic story like Drew, but I'll just say that like most people, my experience was the opposite because I was always obsessed with the number going down. But I really like, Drew, how you said it never brightens my day when I step on the scale, or it never makes me feel good about myself. And I was the same. Like, stepping on the scale never made me feel good. And then, of course, you're so hard on yourself when that number doesn't go down. And then you feel defeated. Like, all of these things I've been working on doesn't matter because it didn't make a difference. But you don't think about how you had more energy that day, or you don't think about how maybe your clothes were fitting differently, or you were happy, or all of those things are washed away or erased because that number didn't change. So, the end.
That's it. All right, we've got a couple of comments here. Jordan said, try meditating 1 minute per day. Just sit and close your eyes, and that's it. No stress. That's how I learned. Jordan, how long do you meditate now? That'd be interesting to know. And I want to bring this over. Vince said something here.
30 minutes.
I asked Vince a question. You want to read that?
Vince says, I usually meditate for 30 minutes in the morning. When I started, it was 5 minutes a day, focused on the blessings in my life. I added a positive mantra, then increased my time because it made me feel so awesome. And I like that idea too about focusing on the blessings, or focusing on like what you're grateful for example, and just, going over that in your head. And it's surprising how fast time will go as well. And adding in those mantras, that's awesome.
Yeah, I like that. Like Anthony Robbins, for example, he does a variation of 3-minute meditation. So one of it is feeling grateful. Like the first 3 minutes is feeling grateful in his life, and the next 3 minutes is attracting abundance in your life, and the next 3 minutes is what would make your day be productive. So of course he's all about production, but that's something that you could start with. Like Vince started out with 5 minutes, and Jordan's talking about starting for 1 minute, and I think it's just sitting there and doing breathing exercises that really is going to make a big difference.
There's so much noise in our world, and unfortunately a lot of it is negative noise. So just sitting, even starting like Jordan said, for 1 minute in the quiet and just breathing and just like do nothing, like that could make a huge difference in your day.
Vince said Anthony Robbins is one of my favorites. Me too, Vince. He's actually the first him and Jim Rohn was the first kind of self-help guys I started in. You should watch if you haven't watched his series on Netflix, Unleash the Power, I think.
Yeah, that's the one.
Quite amazing. Check it out. And then Jordan said I average about 10 minutes of meditation every morning. I need to plug the computer in, Dorothy.
Is that my cue?
No, you can read this from D. How about that?
Sure.
And then I'm
Grab the cord?
going to go get the cord. You guys have Dorothy. Good luck.
Oh dear. I finally did it! Live with Dorothy. Alright, D. Thank you for your comment. D says, I have dealt with eating disorders most of my life. My scale became an obsession because I lost sight of being strong and healthy and only being a certain number. I would weigh myself multiple times a day, recording it on a chalkboard on the wall to continually remind myself of my number, with my worth. I now focus on how I feel. No scales allowed in my house. It's about loving yourself at any weight, working on being the best D I can be, treating my body like my best friend. That's awesome, D. I love how you said no scales allowed in my house. It's about loving myself at any weight. And it's so true, because the number on the scale should not hold value of our self-worth. And we let that number have so much power and control over us. And it's just crazy that this machine and it has so much value in how we feel about ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, how we treat ourselves. So I really think the only way to kind of get over this hump is to get rid of the scale. And I wish everybody would get rid of their scale, right? And say, it's not allowed in my house, because it just does not improve our quality of life. A scale, right? Does not make us feel better about ourselves and does not make us feel happy.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Thanks, Dee. That was amazing. I love your icon there as well. Is that Shira? Or
her profile picture?
Yeah, her profile picture. That's awesome. So before we wrap things up here, we have a couple things. I want to go, girl. I want to give you some ideas on what you can do instead of the scale. But before we wrap things up, we do have a workshop coming up this Saturday, which is tomorrow, the time of this recording. So if you're around and you're local, we have a 4-hour workshop. It's a crash course on meditation, yoga, recovery. We have pre and post workouts. We've got a lot of things going on, and we're super excited about it. So if you get a chance and you're interested in coming by, let us know, and we'll set you up.
There was even somebody had written in, I can't make the full workshop, but can I pop in for a couple of hours because it is 4 hours long. And that, absolutely, if you can't make it for 1 o'clock, but you could make it for 2 o'clock, for example, come on by and stop in and see us. And we'll be going over a lot of the things we talked about today. So we're going to introduce how to start with meditation and how to reduce stress. And we're going to be going over a lot of things that we talked about today.
Yeah. So, let us know. It's right here locally. So it's from 1 till 5?
1 to 5.
1 to 5. So there's a ton of information. We know that's a bit longer, but we call it a staycation or our fitness mini retreat. So a lot of times it's a great way to reduce stress in your life and learn how you can work out at home or in a gym, pre-post workout nutrition. So we got a lot of that going on. Mm-hmm. Vince said,
it's all about how you feel about yourself. We exercise for us, not for anyone else. We deserve it to our bodies. It's so true because if we're exercising and then hop on the scale, well, we are exercising for the scale, not for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, Vince. Thank you for sharing.
I just want to mention, so instead of the scale or instead of focusing on those numbers, there's other things that we can focus on, like Dorothy mentioned, clothing, for example, or a trip that you have planned. For me, instead of the scale, it's skills. And and I've said this in another video. I don't really enjoy, I don't love working out in a conventional type of way. I don't love standing there lifting weights. That's not something that I really enjoy. I like to do skill things, so walking on my hands or doing a handstand was something I've been working on. I just did a couple muscle ups. I used to be able to do a whole stack of them, but I stopped doing them for a while. So I just started doing those again. And then flips. So I just taught myself how to do a front flip. I'm learning how to do a back flip. So those things excite me. They wake me up. They get me excited. And those are the things that I personally focus on instead of being what can I do to make the scale go down? Instead of that, how can I be more active and enjoy living a healthy lifestyle instead of just looking at the results?
And I think it is something, it has to be something that you do enjoy. You know what I mean? For example, how I measure my success is one of the ways is by picking something I enjoy doing and beat myself at a goal. So for example, running, I have tons of running goals, and I enjoy running because it's time for me alone, with myself, alone with my thoughts. And after a run, I feel so refreshed and so motivated and so clear. So that's why I enjoy running. But I can always, the thing with running is you can measure time, you can measure distance, and you can always set a new goal to beat yourself. So you are making yourself stronger than you were. So that's one of my goals. And then another goal of mine is always to try new things and get involved in new things. And for example, right now for me that's yoga, and I wanted to challenge myself to do some yoga that was a bit more athletic. I'd always used yoga as recovery for me, stretching and breathy kind of yoga, if that makes sense. But I want to challenge myself and to do more than athletic style yoga. So that's something I'm working on right now. And actually, a headstand is one of the poses I've picked to master. So like picking something that you really enjoy and then setting a goal to beat yourself at that whatever it is. That makes sense?
Yeah, I think that I think it's skills for some reason, you know, like you get excited about the headstand, for example.
Yeah.
Like I get excited about a flip. Like I think if we did some more research, and if you guys have comments, is there any skills that really excites you? I remember I was interviewing Dan Millman, and he was turning, I think 60 or maybe 70, and he
I
wanted
don't think he's 70.
60.
I think 60s makes more sense.
And he wanted to learn to read a unicycle and a 60th
Read
birthday.
it. Ride it. Oh, there I go again. Ride
Killing me over here.
Ride a unicycle.
He wanted to learn how to ride a unicycle on his 60th birthday or whatever it was. So, and that was something that motivated him and excited him. So, of course, he was able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if we look at whatever it is that we're doing, if we think of a skill that we can work towards, I think it means much more than saying, I want to lose 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jordan said, have a great weekend. Jordan's going to join us probably next week, maybe, or next couple of weeks to do a live Facebook Live. So you'll be able to catch him coming up here soon.
That'll be awesome.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are on, Facebook, we're on Instagram. Instagram's just Drew Tadia. And then Instagram, we're on facebook.com/trueformlife. If you haven't liked our page and you follow along, please consider liking our page so you can see our posts that go up throughout the week. We're also on YouTube. This video here will get transferred on YouTube. All our past videos that we post every week on Facebook, and for the last number of years, all our past videos are going up on YouTube. The channel is True Form Life.
If you want a good laugh, go back a few years and look at some of those videos.
Go back and see how well we did when we were like instantly great at videos. I've got some funny ones. I actually used to do a video newsletter each week.
Oh yeah, and
those
he'd have
were
his.
horrible.
Oh my gosh, he'd have his piece of paper out, and he'd like be following the piece of paper, and it'd be all written out. Oh man, that's how you started in radio too.
Yeah, I
He
read
would
everything.
write out his show every week. It would take hours
6 pages
to
I read out.
write out his show,
Every
and then he'd go in and read it. Oh man, that's crazy.
So you can check
See,
those
success.
out. You can check those out on YouTube. Our page is just our channel. I'll put the link down here. Our channel is True Form Life. But thank you guys so much for your
Yes, thanks
support.
for coming in.
We love these videos here. Actually, I'm starting to look forward to them every week.
Yes.
Like, is it Friday morning yet? So we're going to put together a couple other ones live that we'll be announcing shortly, so you can stay tuned for that.
Have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all of you beautiful mamas out there.
Happy Mother's
Have a
Day.
great weekend and rest, relax, and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, and be good to your mothers.
Be good to your mom.
Buy them flowers.
Call her. Tell her you love her.
For a hug.
Give her a hug.
Hug.
Make her some food.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend.
Bye.